Welcome, beautiful people. Welcome to the Jake's and Stream Emporium. Boy, we have some stuff lined up for you today. I've been sitting all morning here looking at this OBS. Well, no, for like an hour, setting stuff off, getting YouTube stuff done. But boy, we're in for a treat today. It's 11:47 at my local place. We are gonna have a little talk. So I've wanted to do storytime streams for a while. Talk about my experiences as I think a fairly interesting person, and I think I have some amount of charisma to make the storytelling entertaining. I use e-games and other horror RPGs, and I'm gonna start have some of the narrative skills that I need. But I think I wanted to tell a formative story about how my life kind of shaped out to be the thing it is now. Because I'm a fascinating human being, but at least I think so myself. My life has been an interesting journey because I've had some issues. I struggle from mental illnesses, including ADHD, anxiety, and autism, which I didn't know until early in my 20s. Made a lot of my life hard to figure out. But I have always been a bit of a stubborn boy. I have always been there to do weird things and, to fight for stuff. And that's because that's the kind of person I am. I'm always there to go in and grind for things and get good at stuff. So one of the things I did, I was in gymnasium, which is essentially once you're like 15 to 16 in Denmark, you choose whether or not you want to go a more study, like more regular type of school called gymnasium and then into university, which is, more classes and stuff, or you can go specialize in a trade, which I think is the correct term, where plumber or electrician or carpenter or whatever. And the educations there are some school, what's the English word for this? You go to school for a while and then you go out and train as an apprentice at a real firm, and then you go back to school for a bit. My mic keeps cutting out every now and then. That's quite weird. I'm just gonna turn down the noise gate a little bit and see if that helps. So yeah, you can either go straight into a trade school or go into more of your usual book learning. And as I am a kind of person who can't decide on things, I went into a kind of a mix, which we call HTX or higher technical education, where I had electronics and mechanics as my specialty, where I learned soldering and metal production and stuff like that. But what I really did there to help improve myself as a person is that I realized I had social issues as a child. I didn't realize I had autism, right? So I was just like, I'm bad at being social. So I went into the student council. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, I didn't deliberately go into the student council. We were told by the teacher, yo guys, by the end of the day, you gotta find our class representative for the student council. And at the end of the day, I was like, yo guys, didn't we have to figure this out? And then the class went uniformly well. Well, you reminded us of it, you're going in the council. So that's how I ended up in the student council. And then I saw an opportunity. We ran parties and stuff like that. And then every Friday there was a bar where people listened to music, had some drinks, because Denmark. I started doing that. I started bartending there because it helped me get more social and get more used to that. And I was pretty good at that. And I showed that I was good at taking responsibility and going for that. And then a few months in, our student council leader approached me and told me about this thing called EEO, or Erhvervsskolernes Elevorganisation, which is. So I went to this mix of a trade school and gymnasium kind of deal, and we were in the same union as the trade school students because there's a way you can take hours where you actually have to go out as an apprentice. Um, but school students in Denmark have unions. Unions are going to be a big part of this story. Because Denmark is lovely country. I cannot recommend it highly enough. And I ended up going to those meetings and those big conferences, essentially, where I went out and represented my region. And that is where I first did public speaking in front of 200 to 300 people and holding speeches, debating politics and what we should do. And I'm actually very proud of the work we did there. And a lot of the stuff we worked for got implemented recently into law. So now, if you're under 20, if you're 25 or younger in Denmark, you get free therapy, which is amazing. And I am so proud that I worked for that. But another issue was that in Denmark we had I'm pretty sure we still had, there wasn't enough apprenticeship spaces for people in trade schools. And the thing is, we were lacking people in trade schools. We wanted more people going to trade schools and learning trades. And a lot of them had to go into apprenticeships at the schools where, like, for example, if you were a painter, they just had a room with walls that you went and painted every day. And the salary was not great, and the conditions were just not awesome. So that was a thing our organization was very pushing for. So we did a lot of stuff there, but I ended up being part of my region's part of this. And every year in Denmark, at the 1st of May, at the 1st of the 1st of May, I'm gonna give it to you, but my Danish-English translation is a bit rough. The 1st of March is our yearly unions fight day. Now, this is the Danish history we'll be giving. So, I think I remember we had in like very early, like 1910s or something, there was a big protest from our unions where they were like, we would like to work 8 hours and then have 8 hours free and then 8 hours of sleep. Like, general work-life balance. And I think they also fought for minimum wages. And then the police went and just beat the shit out of them. And I think now we get together every year to celebrate that. And the fact that our unions stuck through that and got that implemented. And a thing is, our country has a minimum wage, but it's very low. But practically for most jobs, we have a pretty high minimum wage because the unions have fought for that. The unions are a big part of Danish society. So every year on the 1st of March, we go and celebrate that and protest. And a lot of politicians come and hold speeches and talk about what they are doing for the next couple of years. And it's a big tradition that when you have big things that are a problem, you go there because it's a very direct route to the politicians. So I did that for my student organization because, there wasn't enough apprenticeship spaces for all the trades people who wanted to study. And, the politicians were like, go into a trade, but then didn't provide enough basis for that because companies didn't exactly want to take in apprenticeships as they could be kind of expensive for them. And the government didn't subsidize that very well. And there were a bunch of issues there. But that means I went to a political protest when I was 18. Now, this was my first time doing anything as a political participant. I have always voted whenever I could, for local government and the regional or the national government, but I haven't really done a lot of protests. I have further on, especially for gay rights and against people who don't like immigrants. So I believe that it's important to show your voice, and this was a big personal development for me, where I took this. I went out of the city. I was 18, and I went and took a train to 45 minutes away into another city, one of the, I think the third biggest city in Denmark, Aarhus, and I went and held the sign for organization. This picture I'm using is what's on my Facebook posted by the organization, where I look like an angel. Like, look at this, man. The sun is shining on me. You know, it's absolutely beautiful. Yes, I did blur my friend out there because incriminating details may come up. Because this, the point of this story is not necessarily that politics are important and that I really went hard on that. The point is, we are Denmark. So we went, held signs, listened to speeches, and then we walked through the town to a big park, and we got drunk, because that's what we do in Denmark. Yeah, so there was a big field. Oh my god, I can't have mod mode on here, so I need to go in and manually block people. That's fun. So yeah, we went and got very drunk. That's an 18-year-old me sitting on the left, and I'm sitting with some friends. The people whose entire faces are blocked out don't really know. The people whose only their eyes are blocked out are key players in this story. So the guy who was holding the flag in the first picture, lovely boy, a very nice bisexual man who I had some great talks about regarding my own sexuality, as I have now figured out that I am pansexual. And the way I describe that is that I love people if they are people. I don't care about genitalia or gender or any shit. If you're amazing, I will love you. That's kind of where I am with that. And talks with him were a thing that pushed me. Now, the person to my left is a homosexual man, very nice, was also in my region. And to the left, well, I guess for you to the right, there's a nice blonde lady who first actually introduced me to the concept of polygamy. And we had interesting talks about how monogamy is kind of a bit of a social construct and not necessarily the only way you can have a relationship. And these three people were a big reason I kind of started understanding gay culture. Right, which, you know, it's a weird thing. They were part of the reason I've kind of figured out, wait, you don't just have to be gay or straight. Like, I had kind of grown up and always thought I was like a bad straight man because I was also kind of into boys, but I was also a bad homosexual because I was also into girls, and it was a very confusing time for my life because I didn't realize that there was something in between. And they were great friends that I had some incredible moments with, and that I'm really thankful I met. Now, we put 4 gay people in a field and get them very drunk. Things ain't gonna go good. Now, this is a picture I have named The Moment Before Disaster. I am like 8 or so beers down here. I am what we would refer to as lightly intoxicated. And this is about the position I was in when my consequences happened. So someone thought it would be very hilarious to give me a hickey. Someone, I don't actually remember which of the three people it was, would think it would be very funny to just kiss my neck and just suck on that and give me a mark. Now, that's funny. We are 18 gay people and we are quite drunk. That's hilarious. But I'm like, yo, for serious, this is funny, but maybe don't do that. I have a big confirmation tomorrow for a family member. Confirmations, I'm not sure if that's a it's like an adult baptism where you're like, yeah, no, I'm very Christian. And teens in Denmark usually get that around 14, 15. And I had a family member who was getting that the day after, and I had to, be there. And of course, because it's Denmark, there's a big party and the whole family get drunk. Yeah. It's like, because when you're baptized, right, it's your parents saying, okay, this child is Christian. And then as a teenager, we have to confirm that and be like, yeah, no, I was raised a good Christian. I will now keep on being Christian. I had it done when I was a child, and then I left the church. So I was like, yo, guys, please don't do that. Now, that's a bad move. That was my fatal mistake. You don't, when your friends are doing something to prank you, because they were mostly doing that to embarrass me and be like, haha, you're seeing your family. Like, you're gonna have to explain that to your parents when you get home. Now, when I said I would be seeing my entire family the day after, suddenly there were 3 gay people sitting on top of me and sucking the hell out of my neck. And that's fun. A great experience, by the way. I awakened something in me for sure, but the real issue is that I don't have any pictures of it, so I didn't artist impressions. This is around how I looked once they were done, right? And I still remember walking into we had rented I'm not sure, like, gathering house. It's like, there's just halls you can rent in Denmark where you can get like 50 people to join together. And just walking in there with my family and just having 50 people look at me and just snicker. There's just the like light laughter and just like, and that killed me. I think when I ruined any like good image my family had of me, especially once my excuse was, well, I did this political thing and then got drunk and gays happened to me, right? It didn't work. It was not a let's just say it wasn't convincing. But yeah, that's how politics made me gay. But I'm saying that in jest, but genuinely being part of this student union and going to the conferences, that's when I met my first asexual people and learning about how asexuality is a thing. And I met a lot of gay and otherwise queer people. That's where I met my first trans people and was like, yo, wait, those actually exist. They are real people with feelings and a physical body, right? And like I did some political work that I'm genuinely very proud of. But honestly, I am so thankful for the exposure to gay culture I got through that. I was raised in a very accepting family, but I didn't. My parents were straight, right? Like they didn't really know stuff. They just knew that they were like, okay, people are gay. Who gives a shit? Like that's the attitude they always had. So I didn't really have a lot of people to teach me about this stuff, and getting to meet a lot of people through that union was honestly life-changing for me, and I don't think I would be happy as I am today. I am in a relationship with a gay man right now, and I am so happy about that. It's it was a weird time in my life, but I'm really happy I went through it, because it turned me into a way better person and a way gayer person as well.